Hello, and welcome to the Office of Strategic Analytics and Institutional Research's overview of findings from Spring 2024's administration of the National Survey of Student Engagement, or NSSE.
The NSSE survey is used to assess the quality of undergraduate learning at participating institutions. NSSE uses participant data to develop national benchmarks of effective educational practice, and the development and national administration of NSSE is coordinated through the Indiana University Center for Post-Secondary Research. To monitor the progress of its supportive learning environment, SFA adopted a regular assessment schedule for the administration of the National Survey of Student Engagement. The survey is administered at SFA by the Office of Strategic Analytics and Institutional Research. As an institution focused on student success, NSSE helps SFA achieve its goals of enhancing student learning and personal development by identifying opportunities for improvement in those areas. Additionally, NSSE helps support SFA's accreditation objectives set forth by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges, which emphasizes foundations for quality enhancement.
In the fall of 2023, SFA's Office of Strategic Analytics and Institutional Research prepared potential student respondent data. During the spring of 2024, SARE coordinated with NSSE to administer the survey. To prepare, SARE provided NSSE a census list of all first-year and senior students who were registered for the previous fall term. SARE reviewed census files and updated enrollment and graduation statuses as appropriate to ensure a valid and available survey group. These students were invited by SFA President Dr. Neil Weaver to participate in the NSSE survey. Students received 4 email contacts containing a hyperlink to the web-based version of the survey. In appreciation of their participation, the first 400 students who completed the survey were rewarded with a $25 Amazon gift card. The chances of winning were based on the total number of students that completed surveys, providing additional motivations for students to complete the survey promptly and claim their rewards. Approximately 1 million students across 373 colleges were included in this administration of NSSE, with a response rate of over 187,000 students, 940 of which were from SFA. SFA's response rate for this administration of the NSSE survey was higher than all comparison groups, with 28% of first-year invitees participating and 27% of senior invitees participating. This is the highest response rate in the history of SFA's NSSE survey administration. The gender distribution for SFA's first-year survey population was 62% female and 38% male, and the gender distribution for SFA's senior survey population was 64% female and 36% male. Both are reflective of the gender distribution of SFA's general student body population. And the ethnicity distribution of SFA's first-year and senior survey populations are consistent with the ethnicity breakdown of the SFA student body population at those levels. In each NSSE administration, institutions are offered the opportunity to customize institutional reports by tailoring up to 3 comparison groups. For 2024, SFA selected all participating Texas public universities, all participating SFA state peer institutions, and all NSSE 2023 and 2024 institutions for comparison purposes.
Before we dive into the survey results, it is important to mention that Texas legislation requires survey results for 7 specific customer service categories. Survey results which respond to these categories may be sourced from surveys like NSSE. In the following slides, we will discuss findings of the NSSE survey, and questions which correspond to these categories will be marked by an asterisk or clearly labeled with the appropriate category or categories. The categories are facilities, staff, internet sites, complaint handling, service timeliness, printed information, and communication. To focus student engagement and guide institutional improvement efforts, NSSE organizes response means from the 47 survey questions into 4 engagement themes, with each theme consisting of multiple engagement indicators. Each engagement indicator provides valuable information about a distinct aspect of student engagement by summarizing students' responses to a set of related survey questions. The new engagement indicators replace the benchmarks of effective educational practice used in prior analyses of NSSE survey responses. The first engagement theme is Academic Challenge and consists of engagement indicators, higher order learning, reflective and integrative learning, learning strategies, and quantitative reasoning. The second engagement theme is Learning with Peers and includes engagement indicators, collaborative learning, and discussion with diverse others. The third engagement theme is Experience with Faculty and includes engagement indicators, student-faculty interaction, and effective teaching practices. The asterisk indicates that this set of responses correlates to certain legislation customer service categories. The fourth engagement theme is Campus Environment and includes engagement indicators, quality of interactions, and supportive environment. We once again see an asterisk, which indicates that this set of responses correlates to certain legislation customer service categories.
Now we will discuss results of the survey and how we use them to determine strengths and opportunities for improvement in student engagement at SFA. Once survey results are in and response means have been calculated for each participating institution's engagement indicators, NSSE calculates the magnitude of difference between engagement indicator means for each institution and their comparison groups. In other words, the response means of SFA students are compared to the response means of students from comparison institutions. The magnitude of difference among comparison means is discussed in terms of significance, which could be positive or negative, and is calculated by the NSSE Institute for each engagement indicator, which in turn is made up of multiple scored questions. While looking at the differences in response means in the upcoming slides, asterisks will denote differences NSSE considers significant. This graph compares response means of SFA students, represented by the purple bars, to those of students in each comparison group, represented by bars of other colors, for questions which fall under the engagement indicator higher order learning. The set of bars on the left shows means for first-year SFA students versus means for first-year comparison group students, while the set of bars on the right shows means for senior SFA students versus means for senior comparison group students. The red asterisk indicates that SFA's higher order learning response mean for first-year students is significantly lower than that of the first-year comparison group, all NSSE, while there is no significant difference noted between SFA students and any other comparison group. Within the NSSE theme, Academic Challenge, SFA response means were significantly higher than the comparison groups for the Reflective and Integrative Learning Engagement Indicator for first-year students compared to SFA's Texas peer institutions, and for senior students compared to Texas public institutions and SFA's Texas peer institutions. SFA response means were significantly higher for the Learning Strategies Engagement Indicator for first-year students compared to Texas public institutions and SFA's peer institutions in Texas, and for senior students compared to all three comparison groups. SFA response means were significantly higher for the Quantitative Reasoning Engagement Indicator for first-year students compared to SFA's Texas peer institutions and for senior students compared to Texas public institutions and SFA's Texas peer institutions. To recap important result findings from the Academic Challenge Engagement Indicator, SFA first-year and senior students frequently reported more instances of reflective and integrative learning, learning strategies, and quantitative reasoning compared to other institutions. And significantly more SFA senior students reported use of learning strategies compared to all comparison groups. SFA response means were significantly higher than all comparison groups for the Collaborative Learning Engagement Indicator for both first year and senior students. SFA response means were significantly higher for the Discussions with Diverse Others engagement indicator for both first year and senior students compared to Texas public institutions, SFA's Texas peer institutions, and all NSSE institutions. As a recap of findings from the Learning with Peers engagement theme, reported means for collaborative learning and discussions with diverse others are significantly higher for both first year and senior students at SFA compared to all comparison groups. Also, engagement indicators associated with learning with peers consistently present as a strength at SFA. SFA response means were significantly higher than the comparison groups for the Quality of Interactions engagement indicator for first-year students compared to Texas public institution peers and all NSSE institutions. SFA response means were significantly higher for the Supportive Environment Engagement Indicator for first-year students compared to Texas public institutions, SFA's Texas peer institutions, and all NSSE institutions, and for senior students compared to Texas public institutions and all NSSE institutions. To recap findings from the Campus Environment Engagement theme, more SFA first-year students enjoy the quality of interactions on campus than those in most comparison groups. Also, compared to most comparison groups, more SFA students enjoyed a campus environment that provided them with the support needed to succeed. SFA response means were significantly higher for the Student-Faculty Interaction Engagement Indicator for both first-year and senior students compared to all comparison groups. SFA response means were significantly higher for the Effective Teaching Practices Engagement Indicator for senior students compared to all comparison groups. To recap findings from the Experiences with Faculty Engagement theme, SFA faculty seem to excel in student engagement, student-faculty interactions, compared to faculty at other institutions. Significantly more SFA senior students reported positive experiences associated with effective teaching practices compared to other institutions. Student perceptions of experiences with faculty seem to improve as students progress to the senior year. We have discussed the results of all 4 engagement indicators. Here are a few positive takeaways regarding SFA's student engagement. SFA first year and senior students are more engaged in learning with peers compared to students at other institutions. SFA faculty excel in connecting with both first year and senior students compared to faculty at other institutions. Overall, student engagement at SFA appears to be strong, and engagement appears to strengthen as students progress to the senior year. Findings from the survey show that SFA does also have an opportunity for improvement in the following area. SFA first year and senior students reported significantly lower occurrences of higher order learning compared to students at other institutions. Of course, as mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, one of SFA's goals and a driving motivation for engagement in the NSSE survey is to enhance student learning and personal development by identifying opportunities for improvement. Beyond the core survey, institutions have the option to add up to 2 additional topical modules to the NSSE survey. Topical modules are short sets of questions on designated topics such as academic advising, civic engagement, experiences with online learning, or mental health. Modules allow for deeper exploration of important areas based on campus needs. SFA chose to participate in 2 topical modules during the spring 2024 administration of NSSE. These modules focused on mental health and well-being and academic advising. Both modules include questions which correspond to required legislation customer service categories. We will first discuss the topical module, Mental Health and Well-Being. This module assesses students' experiences related to a range of dimensions for mental health and well-being. This module examines sources of support and explores students' perceptions about campus resources, and compares results to all other current and prior year, if applicable, NSSE institutions who administered the module. A similar method of calculation was used by NSSE when synthesizing results for this module to determine significance of difference in group means, as was used for the core survey. In response to the question, during the current school year, how difficult have the following been for you? These are the responses for first year and senior SFA students with the most significant deviations from comparison means. Homesickness and finances are significant concerns for both classifications of SFA students compared to students at other institutions. First-year students also appear more concerned about employment and discrimination or harassment than other students at other institutions. The following responses pertain to the question, to what extent have the following supported your mental health and well-being? Both first-year and senior students at SFA consider their academic advisor, instructors, and communities that matter to them to have supported their mental health and well-being at more significant rates than peers at other institutions. Additionally, first-year students felt student services staff to be similarly supportive, while senior students felt similarly about their friends. The following responses pertain to the question, if you were to experience the following problems, would you know how to get help at your institution? Compared to students at other institutions, significantly more SFA students know how to get help for substance abuse. Additionally, significantly more first-year SFA students know how to get help for sleep difficulty, housing insecurity, and lack of care for dependents, while more seniors at SFA know how to get help in the event of an emergency financial situation. The following responses pertain to the question, thinking about resources on campus, to what extent does your institution provide adequate resources in the following areas? Both first-year and senior students at SFA feel that SFA provides significantly more adequate, affordable housing resources for students. Senior students feel that SFA provides significantly more adequate mental health counseling resources and dining options that meet students' dietary needs, such as vegetarian, kosher, halal, and gluten-free meals. Whereas, senior students' perceptions regarding SFA's provision of reliable internet is significantly lower than students' perceptions at comparison institutions. In response to the prompt, to what extent do you agree or disagree with the following statements? No significant deviations from comparison means were recorded for the following statements. I have access to affordable, healthy food. I am satisfied with the amount of exercise that I get. I am satisfied with the amount of time I spend on recreational and leisure activities. And I get an adequate amount of support for my well-being from my institution. We have now reviewed the responses with the most significant deviations from comparison means for all questions in the Mental Health and Well-Being topical module. Here are some positive takeaways we learned from this module. Students at SFA feel that their academic advisors, instructors, and respective communities support their mental health and well-being significantly more than students at comparison institutions. Significantly more students at SFA know how to get help for substance abuse than students at other institutions, and first-year students seem particularly aware of campus resources that are available to them. And students at SFA feel that the university provides significantly more adequate, affordable student housing resources than other institutions. Here are some opportunities for improvement at SFA that can be taken from the results of the Mental Health and Well-Being topical module. Students at SFA seem to have significantly more difficulty with homesickness and finances than students at comparison institutions. While first-year students' perception that SFA provides adequate access to reliable internet is not significantly different than students' perceptions at comparison institutions, it is slightly lower. Whereas senior students' perception regarding SFA's provision of reliable internet is significantly lower than students' perceptions at comparison institutions. Next, we will discuss the topical module Academic Advising. This module examines students' experiences with academic advising, including frequency of interaction with advisors and advising practices. This module asks students to identify who has been most helpful, and this module compares results to all other current and prior year, if applicable, NSSE institutions who administered the module. In response to the question, during the current school year, how many times have you discussed your academic interests, course selections, or academic performance with the following individuals? These are the responses for SFA students with the most significant deviations from comparison means. Both first-year and senior students at SFA responded that their assigned advisor, as well as faculty or instructors not assigned to advise them, discussed these academic topics with them significantly more frequently than was reported at comparison institutions. First-year students at SFA suggested similar engagement from success or academic coaches and peer advisors or mentors compared to reported means from comparison institutions. The following responses pertain to the question, thinking about academic advising, how much have people and resources at your institution done the following? Both first-year and senior students at SFA reported significantly more instances of people and resources affiliated with academic advising, reaching out about academic progress and performance, as well as following up regarding something they recommended, than did students at comparison institutions. First-year SFA students also reported significantly more instances of advising services asking questions about their educational background and needs, and providing prompt and accurate information than did students at other institutions. While senior SFA students reported significantly more instances of advising services caring about their overall well-being and notifying them about policies and deadlines. The following responses pertain to the question, thinking about academic advising, about how often did someone at your institution discuss the following with you? Both first-year and senior students at SFA reported significantly more instances of discussing how their major relates to their goals and future plans, what their academic goals and future plans are, resources for their well-being, and their participation in co-curricular activities with individuals associated with academic advising than reported by students at comparison institutions. The following responses pertain to the question, how much have each of the following helped you develop your academic goals and future plans? Both first-year and senior students consider their assigned advisors to have helped them develop their academic goals and future plans significantly more effectively than students at other institutions. First-year students feel similarly about faculty or instructors not assigned to advise them, success or academic coaches, and their peer advisors or mentors compared to first-year students at comparison institutions, while senior SFA students feel similarly about academic advisors that are available to any students. However, senior students' perception regarding the helpfulness of SFA's online advising system is significantly lower than students' perceptions at comparison institutions. We have reviewed the responses with the most significant deviations from comparison means for all questions in the Academic Advising topical module. Here are some positive takeaways we learned from this module. Students at SFA are significantly more engaged with their academic advisors than students at comparison institutions. Students at SFA feel that academic advising staff reached out about academic progress or performance and followed up regarding something they recommended significantly more than students at comparison institutions. Senior students at SFA reported significantly more instances of all-included academic advising discussion topics compared to other institutions. First-year students at SFA reported significantly more instances of all but one of the included academic advising discussion topics. And SFA students report that their assigned academic advisors are significantly more helpful in developing academic goals and future plans. And finally, here are some opportunities for improvement at SFA that can be taken from the results of the Academic Advising Topical Module. While first-year students' perceptions that SFA's online advising system is helpful is not significantly different than students' perceptions at comparison institutions, it is slightly lower. Whereas senior students' perception regarding the helpfulness of SFA's online advising system is significantly lower than students' perceptions at comparison institutions. Having reviewed results and key highlights from the most recent administration of the NSSE survey, we can now consider how results compare to previous survey administrations. In the 2024 administration, the response means of only a few individual questions were significantly lower than those of comparison groups. This represents improvement from the 2013 administration, when SFA response means within the academic challenge engagement theme were significantly lower than those of comparison groups, especially for first-year students. Furthermore, some time has passed since the 2024 survey administration, and numerous operational and technological changes have been implemented or are in progress that could affect student engagement perceptions. Some specific examples related to the opportunities for improvement are curricular changes, degree map refinements, technical infrastructure and software applications, student support reorganization, and the launch of the Student Experience Project. In light of the opportunities for improvement revealed through analysis of the NSSE survey results, the following recommendations are proposed to promote institutional discussions and actions that will further enhance student engagement at SFA. These recommendations are to engage campus focus groups with particular emphasis on student-based populations, to further study the opportunities identified by the survey analysis and create action plans effective for the 2025-2026 academic year, and to leverage strengths noted in the analysis and consider additional enhancements or ways to support known opportunities. And it is recommended to reevaluate and monitor the strengths and opportunities revealed during the upcoming 2026 NSSE administration, as well as through institutionally determined practices. Thank you for joining SARE for this overview of findings from Spring 2024's administration of the National Survey of Student Engagement. We hope you have found this presentation helpful and inspiring. If you have any questions regarding the administration of the survey or the results, please contact the Office of Strategic Analytics and Institutional Research at sair@sfasu.edu. We look forward to continuing our work together to strengthen student engagement and drive meaningful outcomes. Thank you, and Axum Jacks.